Hey you all, welcome to another episode of Sincerely with me, Dankyi. I hope you all are doing well. First of all, Happy New Year to every single person listening and or watching this video. So, I posted 3 episodes and that was it. 1 intro and 2 full episodes. The month of December was honestly like a sabbatical for me. I needed time to really just think about things, you know what I'm saying? I think when it comes to the ending of the year, we get into that mode where you think about life, you think about where you're going to, you think about mistakes you're thinking about things that you could have done better, and you think about your accomplishments as well. So I'm excited for this new year. It's going to be absolutely amazing. My new year is blessed, and I hope yours is too. So let's get straight into the topic for today. I heard this topic before the year ended and I knew I was supposed to do a recording on it. So, and by the way, don't forget to share, don't forget to subscribe, and I know this episode will impact every single person. I know that. By God's grace. Okay. Yeah. So the first episode for 2023 is 2023. Paradigm shift, no more settling. No more settling. Okay? Let's be real. There's different reasons why we all would want to settle in life. Okay? And I want to say this because honestly, God spoke it to my heart very clearly. I'm going to be looking on my phone because of my notes. But one thing that God showed me was that settling is a disservice to you and humanity. Settling is a disservice to you and humanity. And no, I'm not only talking about relationships. A lot of times when we say settling, people just automatically think about relationships. That's not the only thing I'm talking about here, okay? So let's think about this. Why do people settle down? I made 7 points. So 1, lack of not knowing your identity and what you're about. And I'm going to be sharing a personal story with this. Not knowing your identity or what you're really about, not really truly owning that. 2, low self-esteem can cause somebody to settle. 3, pride. Pride can cause somebody to settle. I know for me, and I'm just being open and honest with you all, I remember being in a relationship. This was my my first love relationship. And we dated for some time. And we were really, really good friends prior to that. And I literally remember part of the reason why I didn't want to let go of the relationship was because of the fact that I didn't want people to think that, hey, so you're actually single? Because honestly, I thought being single in your late 20s, it was kind of hey, what's really wrong with you? Honestly. And part of it was, we're going to talk about that later. So... And I didn't want to, and honestly, I was just how can me, not a Dankyi, be single in my late 20s, not put all this energy, effort, money, all these things into this relationship. And it didn't work out the way I would have hoped it would have worked out. So that's what I mean by, can I be real? I feel like in that relationship, I settled. And part of the reason, once again, I didn't want to let go was the pride factor. And my inner circle knew who it was, but people just asked me, how come it didn't work out? What's wrong? What happened? Things like that. And that outside people thinking hey, so you're in your late 20s, you're not in a relationship, so what's going on with you? So what's actually wrong with you? Because, sometimes some people actually subconsciously or even consciously think that way when they see women in their late 20s not in a relationship. So I believe that was 3. And shout out to the person I did date. He was amazing. This is not me bashing him or anything like that. He's a great person. And I just truly wish him the best in everything in life, honestly. So 4, people pleasing can cause somebody to settle. 5, fear. 6, being comfortable. And 7, laziness. Laziness can cause people to settle. So let's think about it. Lack of identity, people pleasing, pride, fear, being comfortable, laziness, and low self-esteem. Have you been there before? Where you know there's more that can come out from you, but somehow, some way you fall under one of these categories. So, story time. I remember when I lost my job, I think it was like a year and a half ago, and it wasn't my fault. It was like a company policy that I didn't necessarily agree with. And they was like, deuces. So anyways, so I was like, okay, fine. I'm gonna get a job just like this. That didn't happen. I was jobless for 7 months, you all. 7 good months. And it really did not make sense. I was applying to places. I have my master's. Masters don't even mean anything at this point, but we praise God for getting masters. But I remember having a few certifications, and I was just like, how come I'm not getting a job right now? And it was hard. It was tough. Eventually, I did end up landing a job, and it was in a nonprofit. And to be quite honest with you, I was already done working at nonprofits. Like, my first real big girl job was at a nonprofit. It was just a bit much at times. And I remember I told myself, like, I don't want to work in a nonprofit anymore. So I was just like, you know what, let me take this job. It's fine, let me take it like that. 2 weeks in, I was like, I need to get out. I was like, I need to get out. And I remember telling my best friends, I was telling Pat and T, I was like, yo, I need to get up out this job because I feel like it's kind of taking me back in a sense, and the pay is not that great. Don't get it twisted. I was so thankful to God to even have a paycheck coming through. But in all honesty, something within me was just saying there is more. And I really believe it was the God factor. Like, I was like, nah, there's more. Like, you can't just settle for this. So I came to the consensus of, we all came to the consensus of like, okay, apply to places and see what else is out there. And I'm so glad I did. Yo, when I say I went hard, you see me grab the mic? I went hard. So I was just applying to places. Within 2 weeks, I ended up getting a good job at the place I currently work at. And I'm so thankful to God that I did not settle, because it would have, number one, robbed me. Let me just say like this. Number one, I would have felt so uneasy within my spirit every single day going to work. And some of us are in that place right now where we know that there is more, but we're not taking the steps to get there. I realized that if I had settled down in the nonprofit, I would have never been able to connect with the people I'm connected to now. And also to even the money, let's be real, even the money. And another thing is that it's really up my alley of what I'm doing professionally. So 3 things I want to talk about when it comes to settling. Number one, settling robs you of the life that you're meant to live in that season of your life. Now, I'm really talking to those that they know they're supposed to be doing more, but they're not doing more. I feel like you listening to this podcast right now is a sign that, and if there's an inner witnessing in you saying like, okay, there's more that I need to be doing, whether professionally, whether financially, even relationally, and even spiritually, do it. 2, it robs you of the life people are meant to experience from you. Now, I don't know if I said this earlier on. I think I did, but remember, settling is a disservice to you and humanity. I think about this. I remember hearing this. I remember hearing a man of God, and he was just talking about, when it's your birthday, people are really celebrating your purpose. Like, thank you for being this type of person. Thank you for thank you for this gift, thank you for this, thank you for that. So they're not necessarily just only celebrating you, but they're really celebrating the purpose, the giftings, what is coming out of you. Have you realized that when it comes to birthdays? I'm just saying. So that's what I mean by you settling it is a disservice to you and humanity, because at the end of the day, you are an answer to a problem here on this earth. Whether you believe that or not, you are meant to contribute to this earthly realm. And the last thing I'll say about settling, and let's keep it real, y'all. When you're settling in life, you're more susceptible to compare yourself. You're more susceptible to be jealous. And you're more susceptible to be envious of others around you. Ga. Sometimes you're wondering, oh my gosh, this person's doing this. I know I can do that too. This person's doing this and I can do that too. Now, don't get it twisted. There's a difference between being inspired and being envious and jealous, right? So, what do you now do? You realize that you're in this position of like you settling in life. First of all, you need to identify what's really going on within you. And that will take prayer, sometimes even fasting and spending time with God to be like, what's really going on within me? Why am I really settling? Is it because of fear? Is it because of low self-esteem? Is it because I don't even understand my true identity? And remember, your identity is not tied to what you accumulate in this life. The physical things you accumulate in this life. So too, what else can you do after you're done praying, meditating, and then now you're identifying the root issues of why you're settling in life? To be the change that you want to see. Literally start meditating on Bible verses, or even start listening to, and this is actually tying into number 3, listening to encouraging, knowledgeable, and convicting content. Okay? So other than your relationship with God, and if you don't have a relationship with God, I encourage you to get one or to start one with Him. But literally listening to encouraging, knowledgeable, and convicting content that is really aligned with your purpose, that's aligned with the things that you have been called to do. So for me, I know part of the things I'm called to do is be an entrepreneur, right? So I listen to Patrick Bet David. If you don't know him, he's really dope. And I also listen to E.T. Hip Hop Preacher, the hip hop preacher. He be convicting me. Let me tell you. Like, God really be convicting. God really uses him to convict me when I get comfortable. And then also, once again, listening to things that align with your purpose, that aligns with the will of God in that season of your life. I think that's extremely crucial, because one thing I realized about life is that it builds. You know? So what you learned from age 16, age 20, age 21, hopefully you're learning and you're building on top of that knowledge. Please don't think you've ever arrived. Please don't think you've ever arrived. And have a very teachable spirit. That's just by the way. And 4, the last thing to do is accountability / networking. So have people around you that can really encourage you and push you. At the end of the day, the ball is really in your court. Like, we can't really rely on outside sources to make us do what we know we're supposed to be doing, because the ball is in your court. Okay? Now, yes, have your cheerleaders, have your tribe that can encourage you, but I want you to realize and to accept that the decisions that you make, it's your decisions. And you need to be, how do I say this? You're going to be held accountable for it. It's going to be through your actions. Hopefully you get what I'm saying. So, with that being said, I just want to say that 2023, paradigm shift, no more settling. And I really want to charge every single person listening to this podcast to have the audacity, literally to have the audacity to not settle in this new year, to literally go after every single thing that you know you're supposed to go after, and to literally work at it. Yes, there's times to rest, but yes, there's times to put your hand to the plow. You see what I'm saying? So if you need to start up that business again, like for me, I'm not gonna lie, my business line, my clothing line that I started, like I was into it and I just kind of just dropped when I just got comfortable with making the income I was making. But then I realized like, no, Nana, I'm called to do that as well. So my hand is back to the plow. By the way, let me shout out my line real quick. These earrings are part of my line. Go check it out on my website. Hopefully you love it. I love statement bold earrings. I think it's something just beautiful about these gold pieces. That's all I have for you all today. Let me know what you all think. And yeah, that's it. No more settling. Relationally, financially, professionally, spiritually. Please don't forget about that one too. Have a nice day, everyone. Have a nice evening. And yeah, bye, you guys.